All right, welcome back to another exciting adventure right here on Radio Wasteland, the best in paranormal talk radio. But tonight it's not paranormal. It is digging into my other love in life, which is nerddom. In general, you know, I was a nerd from, well, I guess you're born a nerd. I'm not sure. I discovered my nerddom through drawing. You end up being the drawing kid. You get wrapped up in what you're doing. You end up being the weird kid who's drawing pictures in the corner. And I guess life took over from there and deemed me as such. And our guest tonight is Chris Gully, Chris Fury, on his podcast and show. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Okay, so the topic when this came to me, Andrea sends me the question, and all it says is, "Do you know what a blerd is?"
Okay.
And I'm just all, I think I do. I'm just all
Okay.
like, I'm not sure, what the and so why don't you explain to the audience what a blerd is?
So for those who aren't familiar, a blerd is a black nerd. It's a coined phrase that was created, I want to say, like in early 2000 by a young lady, and it just kind of caught fire. And there's tons of podcasts and groups, Facebook groups, that just use the word blerds and bleaks, and yeah.
Right. Well, I'd heard the word a lot, and I always thought, oh yeah, it's a nerd that's black.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought about it, and I'm like, why the separate distinction? Why the separate distinction? And I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that it was probably shocking to the black community that people were into these things. Maybe I don't know.
There was some confusion, or a little bit, and there was a little bit of shock as well. There are people who are really into the nerddom. And when I say the nerddom, I mean everything from cartoons to collecting action figures to Pokemon cards to Yu-Gi-Oh cards to anime to just regular cartoons, comic books, superheroes, you name it, Power Rangers. It goes on. And there were some people who felt like, oh, I remember that as a kid and I grew out of it. Well, that's fine. You grew out of it. That's not your thing. But there are some others who literally are into it. They stay into it. It's a part of them, very much. There's quite a few creatives who've come from this type of nostalgia and this type of field, and going on to become writers and directors and whatever, actors. And truth be told, even the hip-hop group Wu-Tang Clan are a huge group of blerds,
Oh yeah, especially for martial arts films.
Exactly. So
they have their whole my friend John had a good sized collection of the Wu-Tang martial arts films, like the Flying Guillotine and stuff.
Yeah, so all that stuff. So it was just more of a safe space for a lot of POC creatives and blerds alike to kind of congregate, and they find themselves, a lot of conventions. At some conventions, there's a lot of pushback to cosplayers who are of color, who cosplay as a character from an anime or a manga who's not particularly black. And there's also that stigma of, well, you can't cosplay that character because they're not black, or they're this, or what. And there's this pushback now that's been going on, and it's continually growing, and it's called Cosplay Your Way, all types of coined phrases. And it's like, well, this is what's happening. And now, like especially with the success of Loki, now it's what's been happening is, oh, you can dress as anybody because now you're a variant.
Right.
So no one cares, and
yeah, because they have the terms. I took my kids to cosplay conventions all through their growing up, and gender bent, I remember, was a common term for
I think they called it like Rule 63 or something like that. It was something like that, where they just like, oh, this is Rogue, but now it's a guy, or this is Mystique, but it's a guy, or this is Wolverine, but it's a girl, which now Wolverine is actually a girl, but that type of stuff. But there's no end to it.
Right.
It's a growing trend. I love it.
I had a really close call today, and it all started when I was so anxious to do something that I didn't stop to think of the danger and wouldn't listen to anyone who tried to warn me.
Well, we parents may not always be right, but we try, because we love our children and we try to do what's best for them. And I'll tell you a secret. We really hate to say no to something they really want. So when we do, we usually have a pretty good reason. Try to remember that next time your mother or father says no to you.